What is philosophy and why does philosophy exist? So, philosophy is the science of the interaction of our minds to the universe and back. So, in philosophy, we're trying to find out what are we doing here and how are we influenced and how do we maybe influence the universe, broadly speaking. And it's been a process, philosophy, which has been taking place over thousands of years, which has been posing the same questions again and again. And the reason for that might be that philosophy is a developmental journey which every individual needs to go through by themselves. And when someone dies, this process in some sense restarts, and therefore this person, while they are alive, if they are interested in introspection, reflection, and posing questions in regards to the grand scheme of things, they're going to ask the same questions because those questions appear to be fundamental to human existence or maybe also to existence in general. And I think philosophy is a very great tool to train your mind. I mean, there's this great trolley problem with some people trying to make the case or asking themselves, what is philosophy about? How can we meet a right decision here? Okay, on the one track, you have a person which is 70 years old and might get run over by the tram if we put that lever on that side. On the other side, there are two people which are 25 years old. And then we get into this moral conundrum. We start asking ourselves, what is morality and where do we should we start to conceptualize and analyze? In which direction should we go? Which ideas, concepts should we consider? And everything might get a little confusing. And by the end of the session, you're baffled. But the idea is not to find infinite, eternally correct solutions. Of course, philosophy is extremely useful to find moral compasses guiding our social structures in order to mitigate potential escalation by human nature, which is incorporated into our systems and also directly interacts and influences our minds, our soul, and therefore needs to be governed by a moral compass, or should be. And so philosophy is a very great tool to train yourself, to find yourself, to push yourself to the limits spiritually in a mindful manner and challenge yourself all the time. So it's a very great discipline. It's like working out, but you're working out your spirit. If you're doing it honestly and for the sake of truth, knowledge, and improvement and selflessness. So, for example, a great teaching of philosophy is Stoicism, in which you say, it doesn't matter what happens to me, I will stay centered and I will stay calm and trust in myself that peace and solution will come to me. Doesn't matter how shaky everything is, how much the armada is being shaken in the rough sea. And what I want to explain you by that is this gives us a great bird's eye view on ourselves to detach from our perceived suffering and instead of identifying with that suffering and perhaps meeting decisions based on the direct identification, we can perceive ourselves in a more neutral manner, which might be more useful in the decision making holistic sense. So this illustrates the one discipline in which you can train by philosophy. And also epistemology, if we doubting what we know, we are very open-minded to infinite chances, knowledge, and ideas in the universe because it seems we cannot simply know for sure. And the question is, what does it mean to know and can we even know? And those ideas show us the sense of philosophy which has been developed by great philosophers over time, by certain philosophers. And when some people say, well, what should I do with philosophy? Everyone is affected by the topics and conflicts which are addressed by philosophy. And therefore, it can be a very life enriching tool to become what you can become and to unfold your full potential.